Yeah. I'll give you a prep. I'll say, Bill, we're going to do musical Mad Libs. Read that.
Funky of funny, mixing music and comedy. It's like everything you could wish for. It's like an opera singer covered in bees. It's like hearing your favorite song while you eat your favorite cheese. It's funny songs and funny stories. It's songs in the key of funny. Funny songs and the stories behind them.
It sure is. Welcome back to Songs in the Key of Funny. I'm Kristen Key. With me, as most days, it's Sean Fisher, my co-host with the Mo-host.
Thank you. Hi. Hello.
He's fantastic. He does fun things with his mouth, and like the Postal Service does to my Christmas presents, he beatboxes.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, I deliver.
Oh, sometimes. And we're so excited to have on the show today. He's a comedian, he's a writer, he's a musician, he's an actor. Bill Larkin's with us today.
Hello, everyone.
Very excited.
Thank you, audience.
I know. The whole audience is just going nuts.
Yes.
And then some latecomers. fresh off the bus.
A huge crowd.
I know.
Big announcement for themselves when they came in.
That group from Encino just got here and really likes you. We're always happy to be coming to you from Flappers Comedy Club in beautiful Burbank, California, where game shows go to have babies. So if you haven't been to Flappers Comedy Club, they have comedy so often you'll forget that it's even going on here. They have comedy 24 hours a day, 9 days a week. So go to Flappers Comedy. Go to flapperscomedy.com and check out when you want to see a show. And today, we usually, on this show, we always have a classic song of the week because we like to pay tribute to comics working today, comics that are paving the way for up-and-coming comics, but we always like to look back at comics that have done that for us. But since it's the holidays, we're going to replace our classic song of the week with a holiday song of the week. So this week, this song is called Christmas Kitty.
Okay.
And I wrote it. Yeah, it's a thinker. Christmas kitty, Christmas kitty, Christmas kitty, Christmas kitty, oh, oh, Christmas kitty. Christmas kitty ate the turkey, pooped on my bed, what a jerky, oh, oh, Christmas kitty. Climbed up in the Christmas tree, I tried to get him, he scratched me. Christmas kitty, meow, 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 ow, 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 oh, oh, Christmas kitty. What a great audience today. And that was this week's Holiday Song of the Week.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Holiday Song of the Week.
Sleigh sounds.
Holiday Song of the Week.
Santa.
Holiday Song of the Week. Perfect. I think we nailed that bumper. Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Now we can move straight into our wonderful guest, Bill Larkin. I'm so excited to have you on the show today.
Here.
When I looked up all of your resume, took me forever to get through, and there's just so many things that I want to hit today and talk to you about.
It was an inconvenience.
It really was. It took up a lot of yesterday.
Well, my work is done.
Why can't I have someone less experienced? But just so our guests can get a taste of what you do and who you are. This, ladies and gentlemen listening, this is Bill Larkin playing 45.
Thank you. Yes, I wrote this song on my birthday. It hurts when I stand. I can't see past my own hand. The hair has left my head and has moved to my back instead. I love being 45. I'm closer to death now than birth. I've been reading books on gardening and self-worth. My clothes no longer fit and I always have to shit. I love being 45. I take medications to excess, and when the TV's on, I find I've been enjoying CBS. I got laid 0 times when I was younger, I confess, but now take that number and somehow make it less. I think there's something in my stool, and when I wake each morning, I drown in my own drool. I asked my doctor, how could this be happening to me now? And he said, well, Mr. Larkin, I'm afraid that you're 45! My body used to be spelt, but now I've had to drill some extra holes into my belt. I cannot see my nuts. My penis hates my guts. I mean, 45! These aren't problems you can just ignore, especially because they weren't even problems when I was 44, and now my memory is fading. And what's more, I can't even remember if I've said something before. I think there's something in my stool. And when I wake each morning, I drown in my own drool. And now I'm finding the music of Pat Boone kind of cool. And now I'm extra tense because Fox News is making sense. Please freaking kill me, I'm 45. There's no such thing as love. And there is no God above. How do I know? I'm 45! But when you get this far, you find out just who you are. You have some money to spend. You love to nap. And you love your friends. And you don't have to see a shrink. You're caring less what others think. I love being 45. I just crapped myself. I love being 45.
Yes.
Thank you. And the irony of that song, Chris, thank you, other audience. The irony is, and this is true, I wrote that song 3 years ago. I'm actually 48.
Wow.
Single tear.
What's changed since then? Would you add anything
A
to the song?
lot. Yes. It's something where I have so many. I want to write a song about all the ailments I have and call
Current
it ailments. Because when I was a huge Sesame Street fan when I was a kid, and wanted to write like Joe Raposo, who wrote all those wonderful Sesame Street songs. I thought, well, and I could do like A is for asthma, A is for anxiety, A is for apnea, A is for arthritis. And I have all those. And it's like, just do a song about that and be like, oh, I can't wait for the
sounds like
B's.
you got the A's
C's.
covered, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a song that you could write forever and ever. Well,
That's true.
I mean,
You
at some
could,
point
yeah.
you would stop.
Yeah.
So when did you start writing that song?
That one?
I guess at 45.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
what
yeah.
was what inspired? What was the first thing that inspired that song?
What's weird is like when I made my last album, they were all somewhat personal subjects, which I hadn't really done a lot of. I would joke about other things, like things in the news or things about it. But this was the first time where I was writing stuff about me and what I've been going through. And when I did turn that age, all these things happened. I'm like, I'm just gonna, because it really is cheaper than therapy. You'll probably agree,
Right.
to do a lot of the stuff, especially when you do write about what's going on in the country now. And when you get older, it's like, this helps, just singing about it and hoping that other people relate to it. And when they do, it's like, yes,
When you
formed
do,
a common
you
bond.
care less what people think too, which makes it
Yes.
easier to put it out. So
Yes,
I think that's
a little less.
It's like
Scotch, if that's a word, but yeah.
I think it is. It is today. It is on this show.
One
Scotch.
Unit of measurement, a scotch.
Thank you. Now that he said unit of, now it sounds
equal
official.
to like-
Parents, my
I think
parents
it's-
seem to think
yeah.
that's a term.
It's equal to 4 smidges, I think.
3 scotches.
It's about 3 or 4 smidges.
So where did this all begin? What were you like? Was music always a part of your life?
It was. My parents had Tom Lehrer albums in the house, which was weird because we didn't have a record player. That's the truth. So I never got to hear it. No,
One
not
day,
never.
though.
Yeah. It was a
Wonder
fun.
what's on this.
Yeah, it's like we just had records. Then eventually we did
Can
get
only
one.
imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine what's on this. And then eventually I did hear Tom Lehrer music, and Tom Lehrer was a satirist of the highest order from the 50s and 60s, and he would do songs about what was in the news that day. And I didn't know a lot of the references. I didn't know who, Hubert Humphrey or George Murphy were or any of those people. But all I knew is that when I heard it, like, he was singing about, the current events of the day and making people laugh at the piano. And I knew that early. I'm like, I want to do that. And so I took piano lessons when I was around 8 years old and took them until 18 and was a horrible student. I was one of those kids who didn't want to do classical music. I just wanted to bring in 80s sheet music and go, I want to play this pop song.
Right.
And they're like, okay, after you do your Schubert, then you can do your whatever, your Duran Duran.
Did you find that the Schubert and the classicals helped you at all, or was it just crap you had to get through?
The latter. I mean,
was gonna
but
say.
it clearly helped me, and now I don't. I play mostly by ear now, which is sad. During my 20s, I stopped playing for a long time. I just didn't play at all. And then when there's a dueling piano bar here in Los Angeles and also in Chicago called Howl at the Moon, and I started working there because I already knew a lot of the 80s music. I listened to Casey Kasem every weekend and would write down every song in different colored magic markers.
What?
So if I do have a gift, it's I know every 80s song. But I knew how to play those by ear, and so eventually I was
Wait, I
able
want
to
to
do-
test this real quick, just
Go
because we
ahead.
can, and we already talked about this. We can play 7 words of any song and
Is
not
it
get
7?
Let's pretend it's 7.
Okay.
So,
I'll do 6 just to be safe.
Sean, let's test him.
Okay.
Or let's take suggestions from the audience, real or at home. Any 80s song.
Yeah.
Let's give it to him. Love is a battlefield.
Only do
7.
6 notes.
Yeah.
We are young. Heartache too. Okay, next.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh my God, I love you. This
Last
is the, yeah.
dance, last chance for love. Thank you very much.
Total Eclipse of the Heart.
What?
Total Eclipse of the Heart. Oh my God.
Turn around every now. Next. Yeah, done. We'll do six. We'll do six. Just to be
Walk
safe.
the Dinosaur.
Walk the dinosaur.
Hungry like the wolf.
Dark in the forest, too close. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
This is beautiful.
There's like one
Sean, do you
FCC
know any 80s
person
song?
just like, ooh,
Open the door, get.
I'm gonna get you.
Open the door, get on. Okay. We should have broadcast where we just do
I love this.
every song ever written, but just six. And
I know, we
never
have an
gets it.
hour. We could play this the whole time. Sean, what year were you born, Sean?
1989.
Okay.
God.
What's the 180 song you know?
17th,
God.
1989. Just
Damn
sneaked
you.
in there. Oh man, I'm Queen.
That's
Bohemian
not a song.
Rhapsody.
We can get there. It's
Right.
a 70s song, isn't it?
Bohemian Rhapsody?
Is that 70s or 80s?
No say.
That's 70s.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Let's keep trying.
Well,
Is this the
see.
real life? Because I'm born 1969, and I tell people I was born in the 60s, and they think I'm this.
I'm
flower
impressed.
child.
One
I'm like,
more,
no, I was
anybody?
just on the
Roxy,
cusp.
Roxy
we
back
got
there. We got anything
Thriller?
from Roxy the Fox?
Thriller.
Thriller.
Oh gosh. It's close to midnight, and
All right, you've been
this is
tested.
fun.
I know. Now, isn't this what you do as
that's what I do at my Although we do the whole thing.
the other
But
job, yeah.
But if we took requests and did only six, we would be out of there like that. Just
How
take their
fun
money
would
and
that
go.
be? Yeah. Well, this is what I wanted to ask you as a dueling, because when I do cruise ships, usually I buddy up to the dueling piano players because the
There's a lot-
comics, we don't hang out that much together, but
Yeah.
we like music and they like comedy, and so we buddy around together. But I'm always fascinated by you start your show as a dueling piano player, like giving them a taste,
Yeah.
and then it's like crack. It's like, oh, if you want to hear more, you got to put bread in my jar.
Oh, we're
What's-
whores.
I know.
Especially when there's like fight song battles between other schools, like Ohio State, because I play in Chicago in the Midwest, and we have Ohio State, and we have Minnesota, and they'll want to hear their fight songs, and they'll be like, oh, here, $10 for Ohio State, and then another school like Nebraska.
you 20
no,
not to.
stop it. Here's
Yeah,
11. Go
yeah.
Nebraska, and we build and we build and we leave with like hundreds of dollars.
Do you know
Like,
all the college fight
we
songs?
know all of them within that area.
Okay.
And like some within the faraway states that we should know. It's like there's some players that know all of them, and like
Oh my God.
and I get a cut of that.
I like to think
Awesome.
that
If
there's
I don't
some-
know them all, I benefit over everyone else's knowledge of knowing all that
I
stuff.
like to think there's someone like, I'll give you 20 to not play that university.
Oh yeah,
song.
we've done
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, do you ever, because it's a dueling show and you play with people that you regularly don't know? Is that off?
We're usually our staff is like there's like 7 or 8 of us, so we know each other pretty well. I mean, some of the other bars it's a smaller group, but usually we know. But like everyone has their specialty. Like one's the rap guy, and one's one does like the AC/DC and the rap, and I'm the old guy.
I love it.
I do the oldies, which is fine.
You're
I
the
love it
guy
that
I would
way.
put in requests to. I like
Yeah.
oldies music. It's my music.
You look at my hair and like, oh, he'll know this song
Yeah,
from the
he'll
60s.
know
Like,
it.
sure.
Alone Again naturally. This will bring the room down. No, he knows it. So you started out by playing like 80s song when you're supposed to be doing classical music, but comedy was always your in. Did you ever have a desire to play serious music, or was it always
No.
comedy?
No. In fact, now when I try to even remotely try to write something serious, it's like I can't.
Did you
it just
ever?
feels
Did you
foreign.
ever have a serious song?
No.
You never wrote. Not
I would do
one?
like an instrumental, but I've never tried to write like.
Wow.
Again, now with like we were talking about like what's going on in the country now, it's like I feel better. Again, it's therapeutic. I don't write directly about Trump or any of this. I might be a reference, but I try to write about what's going on and try to do like somewhat of a comic take on it, so people aren't depressed during the song because they know what the subject is.
Right.
It's like try to milk some humor out of it in some way.
Right.
And it's like that's what's been helping me get through everything's going on. It's like poke fun at it. You have to poke fun at it.
Therapy.
Where you
Laugh
can.
to keep from crying,
fun.
or your head exploding.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Or throwing things at the TV or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you. So you, where'd you go to? You went to school in Chicago, is that right?
I went to school. I'm from Boston originally,
Okay.
and I went to UMass Amherst. I was a communications major, and I couldn't do a double major in theater. I wanted to, but I couldn't, so I just did all the theater. And I wanted to be a DJ when I was 19. I didn't know what I wanted. And then went to Orlando and worked for Disney for a while and did improv with people out there who were brilliant. Wayne Brady was in our troupe.
Wow.
And I was his keyboard player for a few years when we all moved here.
So what exactly did you do for Disney? What was your
I was like
role?
Streetosphere. My first job was Pluto.
Pluto
Which
the
I
dog.
loved. Some people can't
Yeah.
stand that stuff. I loved it. I got to go up to people. And,
They're hot suits. They're hot. They're very
and
hot
Pluto's,
inside.
Pluto's
yeah.
the only character where you can like say stuff. You're not supposed to be vocal when you're like Mickey or anything. You just nod your head. But Pluto, you can go and riff.
Yeah.
So I did.
Those are some benefits.
It was my first job out of college. I'm like, this is fine.
That's exciting. I was Chuck E. Cheese for a long
Were you
time.
really?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. There's a lot of acting that goes on in
Yes,
there.
there is.
Did you find yourself making facial expressions even though
In the mask, yes, I did.
no one can see your face?
It was not necessary, but I did. And it was a pink hippo from Fantasia, and no one else wanted to do it because you had to lay down on the floor and get this outfit on for like an hour and a half. But I loved it because I got to flip my skirt in front of everybody and go, "Woo," and people would cheer. I'm like, it's probably why I have the arthritis I have now, but hey, you do what you do.
That brings up another question. Have you always known that you were gay? Or was maybe that the
yeah.
moment?
Yeah.
I want
Well,
to be
that-
the
that
pink
sealed the
hippo
deal?
with the skirt.
No, I pretty much, and that's what's weird too, because I never talked about it on my old songs, but now I talk about being gay, and talk about, there's a lot of self,
Does that come with age or maybe the climate of the country right now?
No, I don't. The climate of the country definitely added to it, but no. After just my time in Chicago, there's so many creative places in here in LA to like mind your craft and everything. But there's a show in Chicago called The Paper Machete. It's at the Green Mill Jazz Club where I recorded my album, and they would just have me come up and do songs, and they would give me an assignment. Sometimes my discipline is so bad, it's like I need an assignment to write something.
Yeah.
And they would say, "Can you write a song about the anti-vax movement, or you can write a song about this?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then I did, and I eventually had enough to do an album. But some of it would be about the news, and some would be just about the things I'm going through, and just put it out there and see if people relate, and write what I like, write what I know, as opposed to, for a while I was writing what I thought the audience would like, and like, no, write what you like, what you think is funny, and your audience will come to you. So yeah, and that's what this album I recorded last year, and so I'm on a little tour of it now.
Write a song on the spot right now. Just
right.
a little tinker.
Okay.
Well, I mean, this is the nature of our show. This
I
is the
know.
nature of the
But
podcast.
the whole reflection of it is just like, I like writing things that are like for me very much, and you're just like, do one for me now.
Cool. Okay. So this is it's about him though. I want
For sure.
write a song about being a street performer at Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a style in mind?
You know what? Specifically, being Pluto, in the style of can you do a saloon piano?
A saloon piano? Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This is like is it my birthday? Anybody else get a little turned on? Just me? Just me. Okay.
Hey kid, stop touching my tail. Where did your mother go? There are a lot of other kids here who want attention. You're not the only one. I believe I told you to stop touching my tail. What part of touching my tail do you not understand? I'll give you an autograph and then say goodbye. Stop touching my tail. Thank you, both audiences. Thank you.
I never want another guest ever. I want to play this game all day long now. Now, write a love song about the hair on your back. I'm just kidding.
But mention Doctor Who, but all the incarnations of Doctor Who. Yes.
In the genre of Gregorian throat singing.
Wait,
Yeah,
what
but
kid-
let's see if he can beatbox.
Oh, should we? Well,
That's your gift.
You
I
know
wish I
what?
had that gift.
Truth. I can beatbox any 80s song that
What?
isn't from the 80s.
What? I'm glad we met.
Any 80s song that might be confused for one that happened in the 80s.
have you ever tried to beatbox?
Yes.
How bad are you?
My insurance didn't cover it. It didn't go well.
Do you want to
You
learn
got
a little?
insured.
Every week
Sure,
we
yeah.
every week we let Sean try
Yes.
to teach me and the guest a little something about the world of beatboxing and hip hop, and it never. Learning stuff about hip hop, teach us something, Sean. Learning stuff about hip hop, teach us something, Sean.
So,
Everything has to have a bumper.
It's nice. It fills out about 8 minutes of the schedule. But yeah, so thing I'm going to do today, a little bit of history, and then we're going to do a little song on top of that. So the history of beatboxing, essentially the way that it got essentially established as one of the 5 points of hip-hop. The 5 points being DJs, MCs, graffiti artists, breakdancers, and the late addition of beatboxers.
Should I be writing any of this down?
There will be a test, and but yeah. So the way that it got added was sort of out of necessity. And any early hip hop, it was all done to records that were either a funk, R&B, those kind of records that these kids' parents would have in their houses at the time. And music programs were getting taken out of school and everything, so they essentially had to create music using other people's music. And the instrumental breaks on those records is where like the first origins of hip hop started, because they would find these spots where it was just instruments and then they would loop it. And if you've ever heard Curtis Blow's song, "These Are the Breaks," back it up, back it up, back it up.
Yeah.
He's talking about those instrumental breaks in the music and back up, back up, back up. And that's how the looping mechanism of beatboxing originated. So when they didn't have access to all the equipment or the electrical grid, or they didn't have a place to do this, people were just like, well, I can do. And so that way it allowed people to exactly. It allowed people who couldn't afford DJ equipment to participate. And so what I'm focusing on today is that idea of looping and how important the loop is strictly in, not strictly in hip hop, but predominantly in hip hop. Looping. So what I wanted to do to kind of play to your guys' strength is I want you to just make like a very, I'll start a beat. And then I want you to do a piano loop over it, and then I want you to do a guitar loop over it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then what we can do is we can get a suggestion from the audience, and we can just make a rap song off of that.
All right.
I like this idea a lot.
Thanks. I came up with it for weeks.
You did a great job.
I appreciate it. Word for word, memorized it and all that. But yeah, so can we get a suggestion for a song?
Roxy the Fox, do you got any suggestions from our lovely audience watching on YouTube or Facebook?
One moment should have waited.
I think you should
use one mom.
You should use one mom.
We could pick a key in the meantime. So
yeah,
play together.
Absolutely. If you guys want to.
Facebook user says.
All right, I'll start my beat.
Okay.
While we get this.
Nursery rhymes. Roxy the Fox is nursery rhymes. Now I loop something?
Yep.
Sat on a tuffet. She was eating some curds and whey. When along came a spider and sat down beside her, and then little Miss Muffet said, "Hey!" That spider was a dork. And little Miss Muffet didn't have a fork. She couldn't eat her little curds and her whey. So Miss Muffet took her lunch and she went away.
Yo, I'm gonna dance like a jig. Tell you all a story about 3 little pigs. Oh man, they be chillin' in the land, not by gulfs. Yeah, they were always hunted by a wolf. Yeah, man, he was gonna wanna cause them death. And he was big and scary and had a big strong breath. And he would come around with his claws and jaws and paws and knock down all the sticks and straw. But when the bricks went up, they were safe. And they would look at him and just laugh. That means laugh, I just needed it to rhyme. Oh man, going on with more nursery rhymes.
Hey lady, are you aware that you live a shoe. I don't think that's allowed on a block. I don't think you're illegally allowed to live in a shoe. I hate to rock about this, but I'm pretty sure that the rest of the neighborhood is not happy with this. They're not happy with this. The laces alone confuse everybody. You shouldn't be living in a shoe on this block.
Nursery rhyme.
Arrow, nursery rhyme. Nursery rhyme.
Yeah, there we go.
Way better than I thought it was gonna go.
Thanks.
I thought too.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Wow, on this show, that's usually the way it goes. We go into these things, and I think, there's no way we're going to pull this off, and then somehow... but I think when the guest is super talented, I should probably give more trust to
Every
that.
show I do is like, I hope I pull this. Every show. Even at this age, I'm like, I'm still nervous. Every show.
I don't know, guys. I felt pretty confident from start to finish. We're going to do great.
Well, everybody knows you're going to be...
At the very least, I knew I was going to look good.
I have the same feeling
That's
about
right.
you week to week. I'm like, Sean will pull it off. No matter where I put this, he'll pull it out of the toilet. So I want to talk to me about your... you've done a lot of like musical theater.
I have.
What's your favorite performance that you've done? Because you've done... The Producers was the one that really stood out to me. It's like, and what was your role in that?
I was Max Bialystock.
Wow.
That was
A
overwhelming.
lot of
That was in
screaming. A
Chicago.
lot of screaming in that one.
A lot of screaming.
How'd you
I was
keep your voice
I
through
lost 20 pounds during that show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just from screaming.
Which was great, but I don't know if that's healthy to
Scream
lose that much
away
weight
the
in that amount of time. But that was great. My favorite thing was a show called A Class Act, where I got to play a real-life person named Edward Kleban, who was the lyricist for A Chorus Line, the musical. And it was his life story. And he had all these other songs that were like stored away that never saw the light of day. And it's his story. He died of cancer very young. And it's his whole life story. And it's the only time I've done anything dramatic, which made me very nervous, because it's like writing a serious song. But that was 2013, again, in Chicago. And I was, as we like to say, going through a rough time during that show. And again, it was therapeutic. It was like, I kind of... Ed Kleban was someone who always second-guessed himself and was always, unsure of himself as a performer, and I kind of related to that, and it was fascinating. And when I auditioned, I'm like, you're auditioning for the role of a neurotic, bald guy with a lot of problems. Like, where do I sign?
Let me get
Where's
into
the sign-up
character.
sheet for this? It's perfect. So I would say that's my favorite production.
That's awesome.
So, well, I'm looking at the Halloween, the Christmas decorations around it. I know before the show you were playing a little bit of your song. Can you play us a little bit of your Christmas song?
Holiday? Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Just break
And
some
happy
holiday music.
holidays, everyone.
Solid segue.
I know segues whatsoever.
No.
We don't have time for segues today.
We got
I've never been
45
one for
bumpers.
segues.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Here's a holiday song. I'm beginning to take a lot more Xanax everywhere I go. Whether getting caught in the rain or stepping on board a plane, those special little pills keep me in tow. I'm beginning to take a lot more Xanax. I take pills in every size, 'cause the scariest sight to see is my own anxiety right before your eyes. I take a couple of doses as soon as neurosis and pain and stress appear. Then I take a few more than I'd taken before, and it wipes away my fear. But then I down the rest because we might have Trump for years. I'm beginning to take a lot more Xanax and use them come what may. 'Cause the scariest sight to see is my own anxiety during the holidays. During the holidays. Nobody touch me.
Merry Christmas, Bedford.
Happy holidays, everyone.
What are you doing for Christmas this year, or the holidays, or whatever you celebrate?
I was just in Boston with my family for Thanksgiving. I'm going back for Christmas. I have actually nothing else planned. I'm going to be working. I'm actually not working the holiday. I'm not working New Year's Eve. I have a New Year's Eve off for the first time in a long time. I don't know what to do with myself.
Oh my gosh, yeah. What do you do with a New Year's Eve off?
I don't know.
Probably be
I don't
asleep by
drink.
10. You probably
I don't
pass out
drink,
by
and
10.
I don't like big crowds. What do I do? I will Netflix.
Wait
and
for
as
the
the kids
year
say,
to
possibly
die.
chill.
To take up crocheting. You ever thought
I
about
could take
that?
up,
Yeah.
You know, I am 45. I could take up crocheting. I have taken up gardening.
I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah.
Crocheting's fantastic.
Excellent.
Yeah, you should give it a whirl. It's
crocheting
fanta-
a whirl.
Yeah. Give it a whirl. So, other than, did you write any other Christmas songs besides that one?
Other Christmas songs? I don't know if I have any other that are holiday based necessarily. I have songs about. I'm trying to think if any of them could be count as holidays.
You don't have to have any, because we have a segment where we pull out some instruments from that purple box right
I
there.
was told.
Yeah.
Ah.
So Sean,
That
reach
was a
into
good
that.
segue.
Thanks. See, I'm working on my segues. First
No,
one was a strike.
I didn't ask. Do I reach in blindly? Do I just go? Do I not look?
Sean might
Or do I
pull you one.
purpose-
Oh yeah, reach in blind because we have
Okay.
a lot of people tend to go straight for the xylophone. So if you feel it,
Now that's weird doing it blindly because
reach
I wonder what
into
this
this
is.
big
It feels
full
like a
box and
tambourine.
Pull yourself out an instrument because we're gonna play a little game called
All right.
Musical Mystery
Ooh,
Box.
a twofer.
rainbow.
And Sean, grab yourself one there too.
Did I grab? Oh, all right.
Oh, here, I'll take that
I
one.
grabbed two. All right.
And grab me one, or I'll blind pull.
Nice.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
It's gonna be a lot of
Can't
percussion
go
in this.
wrong with that. This is gonna be a very it's gonna be a percussive
Percussive
segment.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh, it's like ours is like an evolutionary cycle.
Yes.
So why'd you choose that instrument, Bill? Why'd you choose that instrument? And can you play the instrument? Can you play it now?
I chose the bongos because I like to hit things. Yes, I like to hit things when it's allowed to hit things.
Very good. Why'd you choose that instrument, Sean? Why'd you choose that instrument? And can you play the instrument, Sean? Can you play it now?
Well, I try to play it now, and I think that you can tell that I'm playing pretty well. This here stick with all these bells, and it is so pretty easy, and it's sounding really nice, and it makes me think of holidays and snow and Christmas ice.
Very nice. Nicely done.
Thank you. You got this.
All right. Let's see.
Oh,
Why'd I
you
choose that instrument,
Kristen?
me?
Why'd you choose that instrument? Why'd you choose that instrument, Kristen? Can you play it now?
Well, I like to be nice to people, and I'm rarely mean. But the instrument I blindly pulled is this here tambourine. And I can beat it, or I can shake it, and I can grab it, I can take it, and I can play it like it hits, and I can play it like Stevie Nicks.
Oh.
Why'd you choose that instrument? Why'd you choose that instrument? And that's the way we play musical instrument mystery box. Yay! Which leads us into a new segment.
Killing on the bongo.
I know. Roxy the Fox, do we have any suggestions for a Christmas song? Because we put the feelers out.
I can put bongos under special skills now. On my
One
resume.
mom. And
You don't
fell for it
necessarily
again.
have to play the bongos for the Christmas song, since you're clearly
But
so
I-
much better
But
at the
I
piano.
can, right?
Oh, I was so you absolutely
Right.
can. I was so curious when you came in and you said that you were borrowing this
Dolly
piano.
Parton. I'm gonna do impressions now. Dolly Parton, Madonna,
For those of you listening,
my aunt. And who's? And Mick, of course, Mickey Mouse.
Love it.
I would do an impression of him, but I can't talk as Mickey Mouse.
because
Annie, Andrea McCardle, not current day Andrea McCardle. 11-year-old Andrea McCardle.
for those of you
For those of you in the
listening and
podcast where
not
these
watching,
impressions were visually great.
they were hilarious. He did some amazing things with bongos.
Matt Lauer's Christmas.
All right, so we have a
That's
request.
That's our
It's
suggestion.
our Christmas song.
from the Twitterverse, not where we're Facebook.
Okay.
We got this.
All right. And C? Yeah.
C's my favorite.
Okay, Matt Lauer's Christmas.
Matt Lauer's Christmas.
Oh, Matt. Sean, why don't you take it away?
Oh, let me. All I want for Christmas is my old wife back.
Those
I
of you
like it.
listening, if you didn't recognize that voice, that's
life
Joanne Worley in the audience today. Joanne
Nice
Worley, of
design.
course, from Laugh In and Match Game. She is in the
What?
audience.
I heard about her.
What?
So excited.
Which one are we doing? Old wife back? Cool.
Old wife
All I
back?
want for Christmas is
my
his old wife back. His old wife
wife 'cause I can't afford the new one. She simply wants to have my money. My old wife. I wasn't that attracted to her, but hey, she doesn't care if I have money. All I want for Christmas is my old wife back. My old wife back. I want my old wife back. My old wife back. I would wish you Merry Christmas. I would have my. Then if I had her, I'd have my old life back. Oh, I like that. I'm stealing that and not giving anyone credit.
Yep. Nope. Joanne Whirly Who.
Bill Larkin, copyright.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holidays.
It's a happy holidays. I think it's a good time since we're in the game playing mood. I think it's a good time for musical Mad Libs.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes.
So now would be the time to
Absolutely.
reach in, pull out your, grab a paper and a pen and your very best friend, 'cause it's time to play musical Mad Libs.
Love it.
All right, so for those of you just joining us, this is Songs in the Key of Funny. I'm your host, Kristen Key. With me is Sean Fisher, and our guest today, Bill Larkin.
What up?
Somewhere in our studio audience is Joanne Whirly.
Ooh.
She keeps moving.
And I've been told Todd Sherry is in the vicinity.
And it's making the show
She is
a
Todd
lot
Sherry
more fun as
adjacent,
we go
y'all.
around.
Yes.
When I run out of questions, we're definitely going to go to the audience for suggestions because they're full of them. So we started this segment last week. We're trying to come up with fun new games to play on this show because we like to keep things rolling, and we love coming up with new improv songs. Yeah, and this seemed like a no-brainer. So what I did was I went home and I wrote a Mad Lib type story where I put in blanks where there would be adjectives and nouns and such. Okay. And I sent those blanks over to Bill in an email, and he filled it out. And now we've never played this song before because it doesn't exist. And I'm just going to pick a kind of a bluesy tune. And whenever I kind of pause and look at you, that's when you sing your word.
But I do it in order. Do you?
In order.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And
you'd like me to sing
numbered
the
them.
answers when possible. Okay.
Yeah. Sing the answer in the tune that you think I'm singing.
Noted.
Musical Mad Libs.
All right.
Can't decide what to do for your
Envious.
office Christmas party. Well, why not have it here at
Flappers in Burbank.
Comedy Club?
Oh.
This is going really well. We will make sure that your
Cohesive.
employees and
Downtrodden.
clients will laugh so hard that they will
Be hiccuping. That works.
in their...
Green parka.
That's right. They'll laugh so hard that they will slap their
Duodenum.
duodenum when they hear
Robert Klein.
do the joke about the farmers.
Stepson.
If money is tight, don't worry your
Malodorous.
little.
Wrist.
We have a special where you can get
34.
tickets for the price of
830.
Oh, that's not. That's worse.
nothing. Says office team building like laughing and
Drilling.
together at topical jokes about
Ottomans.
or hearing comics tell jokes about their
Shoulder.
or even hearing comics do their best impersonation of.
Raquel Welch.
And our comedy club has everything. If you're hungry, try the
Mountain Goat.
burger. If you're thirsty, why not have one of our signature cocktails like a
Tucson.
iced tea? Or maybe a
Ankle.
fuzzy ankle. Sorry, I forgot to say puzzle. It's a work in progress. Or even a sex on the...
Blender.
Your company deserves a holiday party that leaves people saying,
Make way.
so happy with us. Where our motto is, if we can't make you laugh, then
It hurts a lot. I haven't done Mad Libs in ages.
oh yeah.
So many body parts.
So many body
There
What
was
can I see right now,
a lot more body parts this week than last week, but
Wrist, ankle, shoulder.
I don't know if you noticed, it was also an advertisement for Flappers.
Oh, look at that.
That was purposeful.
Try the Mountain Goat Burger.
Bring
Yeah.
your malodorous wrist here.
Yeah,
Listen to the
Flappers
most
might need to
topical.
have to pay us for that. Oh, speaking of, we are looking for sponsors, so you too could have the name of your business in a Mad Lib, and we could advertise your random animal burgers. That was exciting. So, what are you working on? What's next for Bill Larkin?
So I'm promoting the album. It's called Knowing Your Audience. I recorded it at the Green Mill Jazz Club in Chicago. This year was amazing. I performed here in Los
It's a
Angeles.
live album.
It's a live album.
That's exciting.
It was scary doing a live album. My other one was just in a friend's studio.
Yeah.
And we did one take. We did some afterwards, but we wound up taking everything from the first take. So it was.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went to New York this year, here in LA, Chicago, and I went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in Scotland, which was insanely great. Oh, cool. It was scary. I don't have a following, and I thought, will I even get an audience? And people came. It was great. And if you're not doing a show, you're flyering. That's all it's about. Because it's the biggest arts festival in the world, and there's thousands and thousands of people trying to get you to come to their show. And I made a lot of mistakes. A lot.
Like what?
Oh, I didn't have a sound person and
put it
didn't
in song
realize it
form.
until
Yeah.
I didn't have a sound person until 5 minutes before the show.
Oh.
Not 5 minutes before the tech run, 5 minutes before the show.
Oh, no.
I guess I just assumed I had one. I thought I filled everything out right on the form that I did online, and I wasn't able to call them because the charges were extreme. So I just assumed I had a sound person. But when I got on the stage, there was no sound. But eventually they came through and they put on a CD of some house music so people would come in so it wouldn't sound like this. So instead it would sound like this. And eventually, I also got a keyboard that was way too heavy for me, and I was the cast and the crew, so I had to lift everything myself, and boy, my back didn't appreciate it, but there was a very nice guy there named Jack, or Jake, I forget, and he helped me lift everything, and I thank him, though I don't know if he's listening. So, next time you bring your show to a particular venue, make sure you can lift what you have, and make sure you have a sound person. That's the best advice I can give to you. There's other advice, but we don't have time for it right now. Just get a sound person. A lot of rambling in that song, but thank you.
Oh, and promoting your new album. What's will you play us a song from the album?
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. This is kind of a sad song.
Oh, perfect! It's a comedy show.
It's perfect for a comedy podcast. I realized a friend of mine posted on Facebook recently that Don Knotts had died this week, the comedian from Three's Company, the brilliant actor from Three's Company, and of course, The Andy Griffith Show. I was a huge fan, and when I heard that he passed this week, when my friend posted that he had passed this week, it made me very sad, and it compelled me to write this song. So here we go. When a celebrity dies, certain feelings arise when you come to realize that they're gone. And though it tears you apart, you still know in your heart that their work and their art will live on. So you share that online link to their obituary to make sure that others will know. But before you do, I think it may be necessary to make sure they didn't die years ago. 11 years ago. And now he's dead again. Yes, he's dead again. Oh, did you hear Rue McClanahan died? Yes, in 2010. Don't post someone's demise once they've been eulogized. Otherwise, they'll all be dead again. A friend posted yesterday that Joe Cocker just passed away, and that she, it's fair to say, was feeling bad. She typed, "I'm trying to be strong, but I love Joe Cocker's songs. Well, now he's up where he belongs. Hashtag wham." Then those words went round the world on the computer network. That's when I felt the need to set her straight. I said, next time, honey, do some simple homework. Like when you read the link Check the date! Now he's dead again. You've made him dead again. Wow, the research you've done? You could work for CNN. Don't post what you feel. You may not know what is real. Or here's the deal, they'll all be dead again. And please don't write, I was their biggest fan. Because clearly, you were not! Because if you were in fact their biggest fan, then their death wouldn't be something you forgot. Please shoot for a little authenticity, because in that arena you clearly are deprived. Stars today would kill for your kind of publicity. Sadly, though, you can't get it when you're alive. No, you have to be dead again. Yes, dead again. Oh, was it sad he died just now? Think how sad it was back then. Don't post what you don't know simply because you think it's so. And if you're sharing epitaphs, check them first for gaffes. Don't post them once a bit if you don't know what's legit. Or shit, they'll all be dead again. There's a time for reflecting and a time for respecting. But please stop making time for goddamn resurrecting, or else they'll all be dead. All of them will be dead again. Did you hear about Dennis Hopper? Yes, screw you. Thank you.
Speaking of live celebrities, how do you know Joanne Worley?
I know.
Why is she here?
So when
I'm thrilled about it.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't know why she's here.
When I moved to Los Angeles with my comedy troupe, we did shows at the Acme Theatre. We were very fortunate, and there was the most brilliant group of performers: Wayne Brady, Jonathan Mangum, Joel McCrary, all these incredibly talented improvisers. And we played at the Acme, and Fred Willard would go up after us to do a late show. And we met Fred Willard through that, and we would perform with him after a while. And this is like 1997, 1998. This was so long ago. It's freaking me out.
What was the name of the comedy troupe called?
We were called Houseful of Honkeys. That was
perfect.
it.
Perfect. It was a time when that was
Wayne
totally
Brady.
Of course it was.
Brady. And this was like 97, 98. And we met Fred, and we eventually improvised with Fred, and I would play music for them. And I met Fred and Mary, Fred's wife Mary, through that, and they told me about their holiday parties that they have every year. And that's how I met Joanne and Todd and all these wonderful people. They would always be at the party, and they fly me out every year, and it's the best time. I'm still amazed. It's almost been 20 years I've been doing it. Did you realize that? 20 years I've been playing.
Is that why
their
you're in
parties.
town this week?
I'm in town this week for these series of shows, but I'm going back in a few weeks to do it. And they're always so gracious, and it's always what we just sit around the piano and sing songs. I do some of mine, but we all do Christmas carols. Joanne comes and performs. All these wonderful people perform, and it's the greatest time. And I'm still awed every year that I get to be a part of it.
That's awesome.
It's insane.
And apparently, it's very supportive. I can't believe
Yes,
you're
it is.
actually here.
Yes.
I mean, I can't believe you tricked her into thinking this was a show of yours.
I came here to tell you to turn it down. Or be better.
I love it.
One of
Register
the
a
two.
complaint. That's awesome.
Oh my God. Do you have any suggestions, Joanne? Anything you want to ask your friend, or?
Yeah, why do you spend so much time in Chicago?
It's a great question, Bill.
You know what? I moved to Chicago from Los Angeles in 2002 because of my job originally. Like, they built a Howl at the Moon out there. But I fell in love with Chicago. I miss LA a lot. I don't miss the driving. I know that's cliche, so I'll say it again to make it more cliche. I don't miss the driving here. I just hated it, but I love coming back. But it's an amazing city. And this is going to sound ridiculous, but I miss the weather. I miss feeling I know, it's crazy. I miss feeling the holidays.
You spend your time in Chicago, was what she asked. You like to spend time in Chicago because of the weather?
No, not because. I mean,
Okay.
Oh, and here's the truth too. I love there's such a great gay community out there that I got attached to, as there is here in LA.
That is a surprise to me. I would not expect there to be a great gay community in Chicago. You think Chicago hot dogs, sports fans. You don't think great gays.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Really?
That's right. Apparently, we're allowed in every
I grew
city
up in
now.
a small town in Texas. No, they're not. They are not every. Oh, I was there. For those listening, if anybody missed that at home, Todd shouted from the audience, "Gays are everywhere." I said, "I live in a small Texas." No, they're not. And he goes, "You lived there?" Yes, they were. Touche.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We need to mic the audience.
No, we don't.
We don't need no stickers.
So I do love it there. I'm looking to next year because after the holidays, I'm looking to like travel to LA and New York, and kind of base myself in Chicago, but do my songs on both coasts. And now that I have the album, and see what comes of it and everything. Because I don't do this. I've never really done this as a career. It's always been just the piano bars where the money came in and the health insurance and all this. But it's like, well, if I'm gonna do this now that I have the album, it's like. Really got to.
The album's called Knowing Your Audience.
Knowing Your Audience.
And it is available to buy.
Yep, at BillLarkin.com.
Anywhere music is sold, I'm sure.
Yes, yep. CD Baby, everywhere. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. And now the title of I know when you title an album, it's not usually the first thing that pops in your head. Why did you title it Knowing Your Audience?
That's something I always, every show I do, I'm like, I look out in the audience. I'm like, okay, who's going to enjoy such and such? Like if I do the 45 song for people who are much older than me, they don't like it.
Because
it's too close
young,
to
young,
home.
I mean, they're
young,
fine with
young
it. They relate to it, but they're like,
40,
they look at me like, sit down, you
again.
freaking youngin'.
Yeah.
Just you wait, they say, till you can write more on that. I did a song called the Grandpa Song, where it was just a man going, well, how does my grandpa go? And it was fine, but I did it in Vegas once, opening for Bob Zaney, and mistake.
And then all these old men
A lot
went.
of older people who did not. No. And I don't even do it anymore because it hurts so much. I mean, you basically just heard it. It's like, that was the joke of the song. Like, well, does my grandpa go? Every single place that he goes. Oh God, I haven't done it in a while. When he was a young man, his words were like prose. But now what he's saying, only heaven knows. Why does my grandpa go? Every single time we arrive, it's hard to believe that the guy's still alive. It must be tough to be 105. We don't know what he's saying, but we're sure that he means well. Although at times he can be grating, so we're never quite relating. Because when he's communicating, we just can't tell. Why does my grandpa go? Every single time he's around, he can always be found making that grandpa sound. Oh, why does my grandpa go? Why does my grandpa say? Why does my grandpa go? 10 more minutes. That's the toned down version. When I was younger, I could bounce back from that.
Not suitable for Vegas.
No, definitely not suitable. I learned a lot of lessons at Vegas.
Did you do a jingle for Frosted Flakes?
I did a commercial for Frosted Flakes.
You did?
Where I got to write jingles. That was around the time I did the song on the Comedy Central thing. It was directed by Christopher Guest. I was in a room with Christopher Guest, and I flew back. I was in Vegas when I got the call back. And they were like, you have to fly back for the callback. I'm like, I fly back for... It's like, no, you have a shot at this. So I flew back. I improvised some songs. I came back. I did Vegas, which was... and then I came back and I heard I got it. And it was Christopher Guest directing and C.J. Vanston, who wrote all the music for Spinal Tap. So it's him, me, and Christopher Guest in a room, like, doing this commercial for 2 days. I'm like, this is my life. Wow. This is insane. And it was a series of... And he did a series of ads where we just improvised. Joel McCrary did one, too, from our troupe. And that's, his Christopher Guest's approach. You just, there's an outline, but you just riff off it. And we just riffed for 2 days in this house in Pasadena. I'm like, it was the most wonderful...
Dream of dreams.
Cool.
And you got money for it.
And I would have done it for free.
Don't say...
Maybe I should say that.
Sucker.
No, I wouldn't have. No, I wouldn't have. Let me make that clear.
Oh yeah, can you play? Is there any bit that you can play of it?
Gosh, I don't even remember.
4.5 words. Remember?
Because he
gets
just
sued
said
by
like
Frosted Flakes?
just do like riffs on Serial, and that's all I did. I can't even remember. Oh my gosh, there was a country song like "I'll 17 is where it all began." When I fell in love with my Frosted Flakes. It was just that. And they kept shooting and shooting and shooting. Okay, we're not using this. We'll use this. Because it was like hours and hours of footage. And of course, 30 seconds, they take whatever they deem was
perfect.
I did a Celtic river dance that they kept. I just did what I think would be a river dance. And they filmed it and they used it. I was like, like, this
Frosted
is
Flakes.
the best. Yeah. Yeah.
Where can our listeners and viewers find you online?
So BillLarkin.com. I'm fortunate I got that website quickly.
BillLarkin.com.
On Twitter and Instagram, I'm TheBillLarkin.com. I didn't get there quick enough.
Bill Larkin.
So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, I believe it's Facebook.com/funpianohappytime. Everything else was
Fun
taken.
Piano Happy Time.
yeah.
Right?
I need to
hope
work on
everybody
that
at
one.
home is writing
Fun.
this down.
I'm not on that one a lot. I'm on,
Happy.
and I'm sometimes on Twitter, but I'm mostly on just my regular Facebook and on Instagram, and BillLarkin.com is probably the best way to reach me and see there's video of my stuff. I mentioned where
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
be.
you're on YouTube. Do you have a
I do have a YouTube channel. Yeah.
Check them out on YouTube. I knew that. I looked at it. It's good. And I'm going to buy your album because I'm a big
Yeah,
fan.
you are.
I've become a big fan. Yeah. Yeah, this is fantastic. And I recommend everybody else do. Know Your Audience is the album. Everybody pick up a copy of that. Thank you so much for
Thank you
coming
for
on the
having
show
me.
this
This is
week. This has been so much.
wonderful.
And it's been
So
so
glad you
much
guys
fun to have Joanne Worley in the audience. I know that
And
you
Mr.
can't
Todd
see her,
Sherry.
Of
but
course,
she's here
Mr.
tonight.
Todd
And if you're listening right now, come see Bill Larkin here at Flappers tonight. I believe it's at 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
And Joanne, it's right down the street from your house. So please come over. Please listen to us each week. It's YouTube Flappers Comedy Channel or iTunes. Subscribe to us. Facebook, Key of Funny, Instagram, Key of Funny. I'm Kristen Key. Thank you for listening to our podcast. It's...
This is why I came. The free pizza. This is
Oh,
why I
my
came.
God!
Thank you.
Hooray!
Oh, my
Paid in
God.
pizza, I'll take it.
This
the
was
best
wonderful.
day
Thank you
ever.
for this. Thank you guys for coming. This is
Ah,
That was so
you guys want some
fun.
pizza?